to show you today is how this log saw house came into being. I have a family friend who lives in a fairly wooded area, and she decided to collect wood to cut up due to the increase in utility bills and so on. She thought it would be a good idea to burn logs. Unfortunately, she had nothing to cut the logs on. She went to the internet and there really wasn't anything there that was substantial enough to hold the logs, so she asked me to come up with an idea for it, and this is the idea. After one or two people saw it, they thought there were some quite good features that really would become handy for other people to introduce or make their own sawhorse. So what I'm going to do is just give you an idea just now of how I built it, so that if you feel like building one yourself, you've got something to give you a starter for mine. So, the actual sawhorse itself. It's made out of just 6x2s that came out of an old garage roof. I just planed them down, sanded them down, and the main structure is these two X pieces. And all that happens with these is I trenched them 50% on each side, and the idea of trenching and lapping them was so that they wouldn't open up. And I put a brace along the bottom to stop them from moving out. Also, I put in a 4-inch pin through each end to stop them splitting in the future. Now, the actual structure is held together by these two, again, 6x2 plates taken down to 30mm. And these are attached to a main centre brace here, which is a tenon joint which is permanently into this cross tree. And all that is there's 4 splines go down through, and these 2 plates are held on by these 2 bolts and these 2 bolts. And all that happens is, if you want to take it apart, you just undo these 4 bolts, the 2 sides come off, and the end cross trees just fall off, and that's it dismantled. Now, if you want to look at the structure itself, you can see that I've actually added a centrepiece, and this is because logs come in every length, and if you have a short log, then you need something in between to hold the end of the log. And because logs come in different lengths, and the fact that you're cutting it all the time and making it shorter, I decided to make this floating, this trans arm. So I just put a pin right through the centre, M6 rod with a Bristol lever that can be slackened off, and this could be moved about back and forward to wherever you want to move it. And then all you do is tighten it up. And the only thing I did to this was, because I had nothing to stop it from bracing, like the trenching, you'll notice that on there's a bolt, and there's an M8 bolt goes all the way through to this end, held on with these 2 nuts to stop it from bracing. So that's the main structure. On the actual cross trees and the trans arm, I felt that to stop the log moving, something should hold it in place. So you'll see that I fitted these 6 plates. And the plates are just 30mm by 3mm black steel. I've painted them. And what I did was drilled a series of holes, and these are stonemason, the type you get in the Hilti drill, stonemason nails, and I cut them, punched them through the plate, and then welded each one on the back, and then fitted it in with these 3 stainless steel screws. And that gives you a good edge to catch the logs on, and they're fitted to every single one. So in the end, what happens is, when you force it down, it does take a feeling that it stops it from twisting around. Now the next thing I had to consider was, if someone's on the end here and sawing, this is going to lift up all the time. So I decided to make a clamping system, and here it is here. I'll give you an idea of what it's first. All you do is, once you've got your wood in place, up to about 50mm, about 2 inch, you just push that forward, hold that in, tighten up that, and the same on this one, tighten up, and that's your log solid. It will not move. You can cut to your heart's content. Now, if the log is a larger one, because I've made these cross trees to take up to about 6-inch diameter, 150mm, all you do is, you just change these and put them on the top. I put a small handle, and same again, on the top, tighten up, and same result, held firm. I cut a V out the end just so it would bite into it. Now just to give you an idea how these are actually made, in case you want to introduce them into your own sawhorse, all I did was, and I'll strip this one down to let you see. All I did was cut a short section of M8 bolt, which I got out of B&Q's. I put a nut on this end, and I made the hole big enough to take the socket head as well. And then in this side, behind this circular plate here, there is another one which holds that firm, and that's in both of these. I then take the circular plate, just an aluminium plate, and I screwed it on with stainless steel screws. I then take some box section, this is aluminium again. I drilled 2 holes to suit the M8, and then I just took my 4.5 inch grinder, ground 2 slots, and then filed it out enough so that this just slides back and forward. Then a plastic washer, and then all I did for the actual nut here was I took the M8 nut, I welded a bit of M6 rod onto it, and then welded it onto a steel washer, and I just gave the whole lot a coat of aluminium paint. And there it is there, and you can put that to any position and you just tighten up and it never ever moves. Okay, so that gives you some idea of how that is held in place. So that is my sawhorse. It seems to work. People that have seen it seem to be quite happy with it. I'll give you an idea of how it operates. Simply clamp it in, tighten, clamp it in, tighten, solid, and away you go. Cut to your heart's content. So that's my sawhorse. I hope it gives you some sort of idea if you want to build your own, and long may you have some cuts.